Coming up on this edition of NFL Daily, we're taking a look at the updated top NFL free agents left who are still unsigned with training camps now underway. Before we get into that, the bosses said I need to get 25 new subs, on today's show or else. They did not specify what the or else was. I kind of don't want to find out, so help me out. Hit that sub button right now. Let's go to number 20, Marcus Williams, the former really highly ranked top safety in the game, highly ranked top free agent when he went from the Saints to the Ravens. He hadn't been the same guy since. Like, you can kind of see it in the raw numbers, the decline in play, the impact he was having in Baltimore just was not as good. But with Julian Blackmon now off the market, he is one of the better safeties. I think the higher ranked guy on this list is better. Number 19, Gabe Davis, the wide receiver. He's taken some visits. Steelers, Niners had him in for visits. Didn't sign anywhere. Had a decent couple years in Buffalo. Got paid by Jacksonville, and they ate a bunch of money to move on and cut him. I think he gets a chance somewhere. Pittsburgh does actually make some sense, but maybe he waits a little bit further into camp. Number 18, Shaq Mason, the offensive guard, who, boy, that Texans offensive line was not very good. Some real concerns there for Shaq Mason, and the Texans maybe gets a shot, but he's kind of getting to that age where it's like, okay, are we 100% certain he's going to have anything else left in the tank at this time? Number 17, Dalton Risner. I feel like we've done this like 2-3 years in a row now. Maybe it's not actually as long as I'm making it seem, but hey, he's available. It's late July, early August. Like, who's going to pick him up? I got a couple offensive linemen on this list. I don't know how much more Brandon Scherff has left in the tank. I think of a team like the Bengals would probably benefit from picking up one of these guys and having a more proven veteran piece in that offensive guard room. But all three guys are also at the age where it's like, okay, doesn't work if you're kind of running out of time to still be a contributable player at their ages. Number 15, Kendall Fuller. He offers some inside-outside flexibility, most recently with the Miami Dolphins. They cut him to save a bunch of money. Is there any chance they bring him back? They obviously lose Artie Burns. They need a cornerback help before that. Just throwing that out there as a fun hypothetical. Who do you think is the best NFL free agent left unsigned? It's the pinned comment on today's show. So if that ad happens to come here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Number 14, Mike Hilton. Back-to-back corners here. A bunch of good veteran corners, or at least serviceable veteran corners are available. Fuller's played inside-outside. Hilton is a pure nickel. It's not someone you want playing on the outside. Really best as a run-stopping nickel, which might limit his usage value for some NFL teams. The Bengals at points last year had kind of pulled him off the field in passing downs. But if you want someone who can blitz and stop the run, he is valuable. Number 13, Shaq Barrett. And we'll do these next two guys together. That's number 12, Matthew Judon. Kind of fell off quickly almost, it feels like, for both guys. Like, Judon in New England was 12.5 sacks, 15.5 sacks, 4 sacks, but in 4 games. And then 5.5 last year. Shaq Barrett's had plenty of personal life stuff to deal with, but he's open to playing again. It was kind of the weird retirement situation. We'll keep an eye on that front, but the mercenary edge, especially with Von Miller, is a little bit thinner. Von Miller now signed, is a little bit thinner. Today's show, got a new sponsor here on NFL Daily. It is Ethos. As a father with one kid and a second one on the way, trust me when I say life insurance matters. It's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened, but you do need to be prepared. So protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry, and it's more affordable than you might think. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There is no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Link is in the comment section and the description of today's show. It's ethos.com/NFL Daily. A running back on this list, especially with Nick Chubb now gone, this is the best free agent back left. Gus Edwards, who I do think it's fair to point out for a lot of these guys, like how much is really left in the tank? How much is left in the tank for the Gus bus? The 13 touchdown guy on 810 yards at 4.1 yards per carry wasn't as good in LA last year. Chargers have made moves for Najee Harris. Hopefully he's gonna be okay after the eye injury, and of course drafted a Marion Hampton. Maybe the Ravens actually could be a sneaky return spot if they want to get some additional depth, but maybe he's in mid late August pickup. Number 10 is Eric Kendricks, and I'll be honest, I am a little bit surprised he's unsigned. As I'm sure many of you know, I'm our Cowboys report host. Kendricks was their best linebacker outside of DeMarvion Overshown last year. Now, the age is a huge factor, and he's certainly not as good as he was in his prime, but I still think he can help you. Like, even if he's not, borderline Pro Bowl, all-pro linebacker like he was at his best, especially in Minnesota, he's still serviceable. Maybe he's at the age he doesn't want to go through a training camp again, or he wants to find the right spot only, but I think he's better than some of the linebackers who are in line to start this year for some teams. But the age is a factor there. That is also true for Stefan Gilmore. Now, Gilmore signed in mid-ish August last year with the Minnesota Vikings after the Cowboys didn't bring him back. Dallas is a destination possibility again for Gilmore as they kind of work through a variety of cornerback injuries here. But I think Gilmore can still help. I don't know if he's got another year beyond that. It might be it for him, but he can still be a stopgap piece. Number 8, Rasul Douglas, who I think is looking for a bounce-back season. And I think wants probably a bigger, more guaranteed role in playing time than what Stefan Gilmore is potentially willing to do. Was way better in 2023 than he was in 2024. But of the veteran, healthy outside corners, Rasul Douglas he's going to turn 31. That's not crazy old. The Dolphins had been linked to him. I think that makes a lot of sense as a potential fit for Miami. I am curious. He's going to sign somewhere. I'm convinced of it. Where he signs, I'm very curious to see. As of filming, which we're filming this Thursday afternoon, Kyzir White has yet to find a new NFL team. The Lions did bring him in for a visit, so if they do end up signing him, guess he's not most anymore. We'll make it 19 or something. I think White is a good player. I was a little surprised the Cardinals did not bring him back. I thought he played pretty well for them. Probably one of the more surprising unsigned free agents for me, unless there's some unknown medical stuff that I'm just not familiar with. But he can still start. Asante Samuel Jr., I think would have been signed already if it wasn't for the medical. He's supposed to be getting, Josh already had, I believe, his medical recheck on his neck injury, which required surgery that led to him, I think in part, playing only 4 games this past season. I think the hype around him hasn't always been as consistent as like the actual on-field play. I think that the play has been a bit more up and down. But he's good. He's not like he's terrible. Maybe not as good as some people have wanted him to be. But he's a starter. He's a starting caliber corner who's young. The medical is why he is unsigned. So of all these different free agent corners, who's the best one left unsigned? AS for Asante Samuel, RD for Rasul Douglas, SG for Stefan Gilmore, or O for somebody else altogether. Let me know who that is, by the way, in the comments of today's show. Number 5 is Jadeveon Clowney, the former bounce around the NFL edge rusher. Ravens, Browns kind of burnt that bridge. Panthers, he's Texans. He's been all over the place in the course of his NFL career. I bet he signed some point in mid-August, mid to late August, which is what he's done in years past, too. He's kind of waited, then signed. Better in 2023 than he was in 2024. Of course, the team was way better, so you get more pass rush chances when you play for a playoff team in the Ravens and not the Panthers. I don't think Clowney is the best pass rusher left unsigned, though. I think that is Za'Darius Smith. And I am a little surprised he is still unsigned. He does turn 33 this year. You're kind of at the point where some of these guys are okay waiting until mid-August because they just don't want to go through training camp all the way through June and July and OTAs and minicamp. But he's been pretty close to still being a 10-sack guy. He's been kind of consistent in that regard. I think the Lions as a return could certainly still be in play. I think there's plenty of teams that want that mercenary edge. That's what Za'Darius Smith is at this stage in his career. Number 3 is Keenan Allen. Clowney has said he's had some interest with a couple different teams. A report that Allen's had similar conversations. A couple of these guys, they're older, they're going to wait. Maybe wait for an injury, wait to see what the rotation, what the rooms look like, what the needs look like. I don't know how much more Allen has left in the tank, but if you want that kind of chain mover, slot possession receiver, he can still contribute. Number 2 is Amari Cooper. And look, it wasn't good last year for Amari. But he's not that far removed from being a 1,000-yard receiver and putting up good numbers with the rotating cast of disaster class quarterbacks Cleveland's had. He's been good. Maybe he's definitely not going to be as good as he was in his very best seasons with Dallas and even a little bit overlap with the Browns and Raiders there. I think he's better than what he showed in 8 games with Buffalo, where he was banged up and never quite got going chemistry-wise for whatever reason. Someone should give him a shot, even though he's not going to be the 1,000-yard guy anymore. Of those 2 receivers, who's better? KA for Keenan Allen, AC for Amari Cooper. Number 1, Justin Simmons, the safety. I was a little surprised he waited so long last offseason to find a destination with the Falcons. I still think he is a very good safety. He's not like the top 5 guy he was in his prime, but he's still a starter. Maybe he's at the point where he wants to kind of explore options, but I am a big fan of Simmons' game still. Kind of cheating with this one. 1A, 1B, Justin Simmons, Noah Fant. We'll kind of merge them together here because, we're filming this on Thursday. Noah Fant is set to visit the Bengals on Thursday evening/afternoon. There's a chance he signs, in which case we'll cut this part of the video out. But if he is still unsigned, he's up there. This is a guy that was in line to start with Seattle. I think they wanted to go younger, couldn't find a trade partner. Where he goes, I'm very curious, but I think there's a 100% chance Noah Fant's playing real snaps for a potential contender this upcoming season.